everyone. Today I was kind of playing with some things. I get asked a lot about granulating in your watercolors, kind of what they are, how you might use them, if they're good or bad. Granulating happens when the pigment particles clump up together on your paper. And to me, I love it. It creates these beautiful textures and some depth. And there are definitely certain colors more known for that granulating effect. Ultramarine blue, cobalt blue, burnt sienna. They're more of those granulating pigments due to they have a little bit larger and heavier pigments that are used in them. I like the effect because I think it's perfect to add kind of that uniqueness that is watercolors. It adds interest, especially in landscapes and skies and those like textured type surfaces in your painting, like rocks and sand and trees and things like that. So, you know, I say don't fight the texture. Use it to make your art a little bit more interesting. And granulation, this was another question, isn't limited just to, it doesn't mean your pigments are cheap or inexpensive. It happens in all qualities, all professional grade, student grade. And that's what I wanted to show you here. It isn't just, it doesn't mean your paint isn't good. It also happens in the higher end professional ones like Winsor Newton, which I'm going to show you right now. So what I did here is, this is the MeiLang palette. This is their student grade. This is burnt sienna, and I'm hoping you can kind of see the granulation there. Ultramarine blue, the MeiLang, this pigment is PB29, so it's a single pigment. This is their cobalt. I'm really hoping on the camera you can pick up it's a little bit granulated. And then here's the Winsor Newton. And this last one is cobalt in Daniel Smith because I did not have the Winsor Newton cobalt. This is the ultramarine in Winsor Newton. This is their burnt umber, which the burnt umber, even in the professional grade, the tube I had was not a single pigment, which is just a little bit more pure color, but their ultramarine blue was the Daniel Smith cobalt. So the reason for showing you this is I wanted to show you that, you know, even that MeiLang palette, look at how beautiful that granulation is. And then here's the Paul Rubens, which is pretty much my favorite these days, granulation. They're Paul Rubens Professional. And look at that beautiful granulation in their ultra blue, even in their MeiLang student grade palette. The burnt umber, now this is, I use burnt sienna, but this is one single pigment. So it's gonna be pretty pure. And look at that beautiful granulation. This is their cerulean, gorgeous, single pigment. And this is their cobalt. So I'm hoping you can pick up some of that granulation in these. We've got here the very inexpensive MeiLang palette, which I recommend to you guys all the time. It's like $22. This is the Winsor Newton. This is the Paul Rubens, which also makes MeiLang. This is their professional palette, so it's a little bit more. The light fastness is going to be a little bit higher and a lot more single pigments. But there you go. I really wanted to show you that. In other words, granulation isn't just, it's not due to an inexpensive paint. It's even in those high ends, you know, it's a good thing. It's adds that texture, that character. It's just caused by just the natural properties that are in the certain pigments. It doesn't matter. It's regardless of the price or quality. Whether you're using student grade, professional grade, you're going to get that granulation and it's going to be a beautiful textured effect. So I embrace it. It adds depth and interest to your watercolor paintings. and have fun with it. It's not a sign of a low quality paint. It's just a characteristic of certain pigments. I hope that's helpful for you because I get a lot of questions about the MeiLang paints, and I'm just such a fan of Paul Rubens. And I will tell you, I used Winsor Newton for decades because that's what I was told you're supposed to use when I was in college. And I just stuck with it. I recently switched over to the MeiLang because I wanted to find a good paint for students. And look at this. I mean, I would say it really holds a candle to their Paul Rubens MeiLang palette. And then here is their professional palette, which I think does absolutely fantastic. I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. This is just my findings, but I really wanted to show and answer some of those questions about that granulation. It's a beautiful thing. It's a positive thing. It's just natural in certain pigments, and happy painting. By the way, this was on the Meeden 100% cotton cold pressed watercolor paper. This is their blocks. I wanted to use 100% cotton for these so that it would, just in case any of you asked. All right, happy painting. I hope that was helpful.